Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Minecraft Eras. This is episode 3. And like I promised at the end of last video, I ended up finishing, for the most part, the slime farm. It's not the most efficient thing, but it does kind of work. So the way this works is relatively simple. Slimes spawn on these two chunk platforms here. They'll eventually jump off and land in these water streams before being dragged up to the end over there where they'll land in here. Since slimes can't jump, what ends up happening is that they're just stuck in here till I come over and start killing them. So yeah, the slime farm is complete for the time being. But one thing I always like to add to farms or anything that I might need to get into later is to add a maintenance hatch. I have one hidden in here. The observant of you might have noticed this button here. Press this, it opens up this. Just a second. Again, as you might have noticed, there's this button that leads to this piston door here, and I got a maintenance hatch for the door itself back here. Then you keep going here, and then you have this lever with another piston door leading to the inside here, making it nice and seamless and barely noticeable to anybody who doesn't know what they're looking for. Now, I had a few issues while I was actually making this door. As you might have noticed earlier, when I ended up getting stuck inside the door. That was an issue that kept happening. So I ended up needing to make a pulse extender here. I was trying to explain this in the video, but I had some trouble explaining it there, so I'll re-explain it here. For the door, I needed to make a pulse extender so it would stay open for longer, but I had some issues getting one to work right. Standard way you would normally make a pulse extender post 1.5 is you would have two repeaters on subtract mode with two redstone dust in between like this, or similar. How this would work is you would have your power source coming up here, turning this on, powering this redstone dust that would then get added into here. That would do a circuit like this. You add this power source here, this would get powered, subtract this amount here, which is 0 from this, sending down that signal there and extending it until it eventually fizzles out. But I don't have access to any comparators, so this was completely out the window. So I ended up with going with something like this. So how this one works is I have a redstone torch here that sends a redstone signal into here, which powers this redstone dust, which sends power here, and in turn turns this off. So this would traditionally make a redstone clock, but Mojang added at some point in the alpha versions that if a redstone torch goes on and off repeatedly too many times in quick succession, the redstone torch would turn off. What this does is it makes use of that mechanic, since the redstone dust will turn off after, I believe it's about 8 pulses. You have a repeater here, which extracts the pulse from here and turns it into a steady signal, and a power source here that resets the cycle every time it goes off. So I ended up using this design here in the piston door. It has a minor issue where it turns on randomly, but I have to deal with it since I don't have any other alternatives at the moment. But other than this pulse extender, this door is mostly just a Jeb door. You can go look that up if you want a more practical design. I did have to add a couple of pistons here in the back since I had some issues with these bottom pistons not activating properly. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, as you can see, the bottom 2 pistons there didn't push it forward, so the door was only half functional as a result. These pistons here give a block update to these 2 pistons down here, making it so that they activate the way they're supposed to. So yeah, that's basically my little hidden door. Now on to other projects for now. So between episodes, I did some basic resource gathering. I got myself some cobblestone, dirt, some wood, gonna use that today to make my nether portal. For where my nether portal is gonna be, I marked out this area here in episode 1. This is 0, the center of my world. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a floating island up there with my nether portal on it, and I'm gonna have a lake underneath it just to make things look nice and to have a way up. So I'll get started on that. Hey everyone, welcome back. As you can see, some time has passed. I tried to turn this into a time lapse. Didn't really turn out well. Had too much footage. I just decided to scrap it and show you the progress here. So I got my nice little lake there and my sky island up here. Now, up here, eventually I'm gonna add some grass to spread up here once I get some silk touch. But for now, it's dirt with a little lake river going down around here and a little sandstone monument thing here in the middle where I'm gonna have my nether portals be. My island up there, I think it turned out pretty well. Maybe I should have put it a bit lower, but it's all fine for now. And then I have my lake down here. I decided to add some boulders along the sides, give it some more color variants, some lily pads on the water. Put that back. Since this is all under the sky island, I found it pretty dark. So what I was thinking of doing is adding these like large pink lilies alongside on the lake. And once I manage to get into the nether, I'm gonna grab some glowstone and put some here, give it some light in the darkness. I think that'll look really nice. Eventually I'm also gonna add a small pier here as well for fishing or something along those lines. But for now I'm gonna leave that there and move on to the next part of today's episode, which is heading into the nether. So let's get the obsidian and do that. So while I'm building this nether portal, I wanted to do a little experiment. In the past, I don't know exactly which update, but in the past you needed to fill in all 4 corners of the nether portal with obsidian to be able to light it. I just wanted to see if that was still a thing in this version or if they had already updated it. Okay, so it looks like they already changed that out for this update. So now let's see what our nether looks like. Nether fortress is pretty close. As you can tell, netherrack is a crime on eyesight. It's not too bad of a nether spawn. I can definitely work with this. Okay, so eventually I'm going to build a nether hub here at 0. One idea that I've heard of from a YouTuber known as Etho, who you've probably heard of if you're watching this, is making a nether hub at the coordinate 0 and having tunnels branching out in all 4 cardinal directions from there. It's a useful thing to have so that in case you ever get lost, all you ever need to do is just go to 0 and any coordinate to be able to find your way again. Now, while I'm exploring this nether fortress, you're probably noticing the lack of a mob you've come to expect from these fortresses, those being wither skeletons. Wither skeletons were actually added in the same update that beacons were added. So such nether fortresses are a lot less dangerous than they would become in the future. Another thing you might be noticing with the nether is the lack of quartz ores. This is because quartz were actually added in the 1.5 update alongside blocks that would use them, like comparators. Now that we're back in the overworld, I'll show you what I meant with the soul sand. So while you can plant your nether wart up in the overworld, it doesn't actually grow, so you need to plant all your warts in the nether to be able to do any brewing with them. Now that I have some glowstone, I'll fill up these flowers and see how it all looks. Isn't that a lot nicer than what it was before, now that there's actually some light? Yeah, I like this a lot. Happy I decided to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Leave me a comment about what you think about this pond and floating island I made for my nether portal. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one. See you next time.